She told me open relationships are normal. You're just insecure after I saw her messages. So I gave her all the freedom she wanted and moved out without a word. Now she's realizing none of her options want to be with her for real. Hey everyone, before we get to the rest of the story, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to hear more stories like this one. Thanks. I once believed the most painful kind of betrayal was a single, shattering moment of infidelity. But I've learned there's a slower, more insidious kind, the one that wears a mask of self-discovery and progressive ideals. It doesn't break your heart all at once. It erodes your sense of reality, one quiet lie at a time. My name is Eric. I'm 29, a software engineer, and until half a year ago, I was completely committed to Sarah. We'd been together for 2 years. I truly thought she was the one. We met at a game night. She was the life of the party, a whirlwind of energy who could make anyone laugh. She worked in marketing, bouncing between startups, and told me she appreciated my stable nature. I didn't think much of it then, but looking back, that should have been the first warning sign. People who are drawn to stability usually aren't ready for it. The beginning of our relationship was wonderful. I was captivated by her chaotic spirit. She could find excitement in anything: a unique mug at a flea market, a detour just to catch the sunset. I was more grounded, but she helped me step out of my routine, while I brought a sense of calm to her unpredictable life. I supported her when she was between jobs, covering our rent for 3 months without a complaint. I designed her a professional website when she started freelancing, and even bought her a used camera for a new content creation hobby. I was her anchor, her quiet support system. And for a while, she seemed genuinely grateful. Things started to change subtly. Maybe it was her social media feed, or the influence of her friend Kelsey, who saw every guy as an opportunity. Or maybe it was just a part of who Sarah always was. Whatever the cause, it began with small remarks. Monogamy is kind of a dated idea, don't you think? You wouldn't get upset if I kissed someone at a festival, right? That's not real cheating. You don't own me. At first, I laughed it off. But the comments grew more pointed, and soon, any discomfort I expressed was met with accusations of me being controlling or insecure. I wasn't forbidding anything. I was simply asking questions, and even that was too much for her. The true moment of clarity arrived on a regular Tuesday evening. We were watching a movie when she got up to shower, leaving her Apple Watch on the table. A message popped up, still thinking about Saturday night. You're unreal. It was from a guy named Travis. I didn't need to dig deeper. That one message was a punch to the gut. I paused the movie and just sat there, my ears ringing with silence. When she walked back in, wrapped in a towel, she saw her watch in my hand. Who's Travis? My voice was hollow, not angry. She blinked, crossing her arms, and her whole demeanor shifted. Why are you looking through my things? I wasn't. The message lit up, I replied, still holding the watch. She scoffed, snatching it from my hand. God, Eric, that's so invasive. He's just a friend. I said nothing. You're being ridiculous, she continued. What? I can't have guy friends now. Friends don't text like that, I said, my tone still steady. She rolled her eyes and went into the bedroom. You're so insecure sometimes. I followed her. Did you hook up with him? She pulled on a t-shirt. We hung out. It wasn't a big deal. You cheated on me, I explored. She shot back. You and I are too rigid, Eric. You never want to talk about non-monogamy, even though I've mentioned it a dozen times. You act like some 1950s dad who thinks he owns me. I just stood there, watching her twist the narrative until I was the villain. I thought we were exclusive, I said quietly. You assumed, she replied. I was trying to expand our connection, and instead of being open-minded, you're making this into some morality play. Seriously, open relationships are normal now. You sound like a dinosaur. I didn't say a word. The silence must have gotten to her, because she added, I didn't lie to you. I just didn't feel the need to narrate every interaction. That's not cheating. That's me having agency. She used that word agency, as if sleeping with someone else behind my back was some sort of empowered act. I went to bed without another word, turning my back when she tried to cuddle. That night, a switch flipped inside me. No arguments, no shouting. I just lay there staring at the ceiling, realizing this woman wasn't for me. This wasn't a relationship. It was an emotional cage match, full of gaslighting and nonsense buzzwords. The next morning, I made coffee. She was chatting happily about how we shouldn't let one small disagreement ruin our relationship. I just nodded, drinking my coffee, knowing I was already gone. When she left for work around 10 a.m., I called in sick. By 2 p.m., I had a reservation for a storage unit. By 5 p.m., I had a short-term sublet on the other side of town. Over the next 2 days, while she was gone, I packed everything that was mine. My desk, my computer, my clothes, my books, my guitar. I even left the things I'd bought for her. The last thing I did was leave a note on the kitchen counter. You're free now, just like you wanted. Don't contact me then. I walked out and never looked back. The first few weeks were eerily quiet. I thought I'd feel liberated, but instead, it was like stepping off a train in motion. There was no Sarah's voice, no sarcastic comments, no loud TikToks. Just me, a small rental with bare walls and the silence. For a while, I waited for the emotional breakdown, the crying, and the regret. But it never came. My heart was broken, yes, but not because I missed her. I missed the person I thought she was. There's a big difference. In that quiet, I started doing things I hadn't done in years. I reconnected with friends she'd called boring. I went to the gym every morning. I took long walks without checking my phone. I opened a savings account just for myself. I started sleeping deeply, soundly. The biggest change? I stopped doubting myself. Sarah used to make me feel like my every boundary was an attack on her freedom. That wanting honesty or exclusivity was a sign that I was trying to control her. Now, I was alone, and for the first time in 2 years, I felt sane. I didn't block her on every platform, just the main ones: phone, Instagram, email. I knew if she really wanted to reach me, she would. And 2 weeks of silence later, she did. It started with a mutual friend texting me, "Hey, not taking sides, but Sarah's been spiraling. You okay?" I ignored it. 3 days later, an email came through. The subject line, "I miss you. Please read this. I didn't." 2 more emails followed, and then a long message via Venmo. She sent me $1 with a note that said, "I hate how things ended. Can we talk?" I refunded the payment without a reply. That's when the tone shifted. A week after the Venmo stunt, I got a call from an unknown number. I didn't answer. A text followed. "Hey, it's Sarah's friend Tasha. She's not doing great. She just wants some closure. Could you meet her?" Closure. Funny how people only want that when they realize the door has actually locked behind them. I didn't respond, but the updates kept coming. Not from Sarah, but from the world we used to share. A guy from our old friend group messaged me randomly. "Dude, Travis, the guy she messed around with? Total clown. She went all in, and he ghosted her after a week." Another message a few days later from someone I barely knew. "Not sure if you care, but Sarah's blowing up her friend group. Everyone's pretty over her drama. I never replied, but I won't." Laya reading those messages felt incredibly validating, apparently. After I left, she tried to turn the tables, telling everyone I was emotionally unavailable and that I abandoned her because I couldn't handle a strong woman with options. But people saw right through it, especially when she started posting sad stories on Instagram about how men were trash while also posing for thirst traps. Her follower count dropped. Her group chats went quiet. Travis never became her boyfriend. He apparently told people she was too intense. The other guys she had lined up all fizzled out. One of them had a girlfriend and just wanted a fling. Another one never even showed up for their date. She went from being liberated and exploring to confused and accidentally single in under a month. That's when the desperation really set in. One evening, I walked into my new building's lobby. And there she was, Sarah standing by the elevator, arms crossed, wearing a hoodie. As if she hadn't destroyed our entire relationship just 6 weeks prior. She looked smaller somehow, less sure of herself. Or maybe I was just seeing her clearly for the first time. "Hey," she said. I didn't say a word. I didn't know how, she said. There's nothing else to do. I've blocked me everywhere, I nodded. I did. She hesitated, her confidence wavering. I didn't expect you to actually disappear. I raised an eyebrow. You told me open relationships were normal. I gave you exactly what you wanted. Freedom. She flinched. I was wrong. Okay? I was just trying to figure myself out. I didn't mean to hurt you. You weren't figuring anything out. You were toying with me while you chased attention. That's not fair, she snapped, but her voice cracked. No, I said, my voice calm as ever. What wasn't fair was you demanding loyalty while keeping your exits. Planned. She looked down. I miss you, she whispered. Everything is so empty now. I simply nodded. That happens when you burn a bridge before you know how to swim. The look on her face suggested she might start crying, but I didn't feel a thing. You don't even want to hear me out, she asked. I did hear you out, I replied. That night you called me controlling, insecure, and outdated. That was the last conversation we needed. She stared at me like I was a stranger. Maybe for the first time she was seeing me for who I was, not the quiet guy who would do anything to make her happy, but a man who finally realized he deserved better. You're really not coming back, are you? No, I said. And you're not coming in. I walked past her, pressed the elevator button, didn't look back. After our encounter in the lobby, I thought she'd finally get the message. She didn't. A week later, my email inbox was flooded again. This time, it wasn't just Sarah, but her mother. The subject line read, Sarah is hurting. Please don't abandon her when she needs you most. It was a massive guilt trip. A long email about how Sarah has always struggled and how I was the first stable influence in her life. It argued that a strong man doesn't walk away when a woman is confused. I didn't respond. I archived it, just like spam. Then came her sister, Jenny, texting me out of the blue. I know she messed up, but you guys had something real. She cries every night. I blocked the number. A few days later, a handwritten letter appeared in my mailbox. No stamp. Just folded paper. Eric, it began. You didn't even give me a chance to explain. I wasn't trying to replace you. I was scared. I thought if I had options, I'd feel safer. But all I did was ruin the one person who truly saw me. I miss your quiet mornings. Your coffee? I miss how safe I felt. I thought I wanted chaos and excitement. I was wrong. Please, even just for coffee, let me show you I've changed. It was signed, Sarah. I stared at the letter for a full minute before. I tore it in half and threw it in the trash, with the same finality I used to delete her from my life. But she still wasn't done. 2 days later, my boss called. Hey, Eric. Weird question. Did you give someone permission to visit you here? What? No. Okay. There was a woman in the lobby asking for you. Said she was your girlfriend. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. She's not. Sorry about that. It won't happen again. It was pathetic. The relentless pressure. The desperate attempts to stage a reunion like it was some rom-com instead of a disaster she'd caused. But the part that truly hit me was the realization that she wasn't sorry for what she did. She was only sorry that she had lost me. The final straw came on a Sunday afternoon. I was at a cafe with some coworkers before a movie. As we walked in, I saw her, Sarah, sitting alone by the window with her laptop. Headphones on, looking like a woman trying to project stability. Our eyes met. I gave a polite nod and turned back to my group. But of course, she got up, walked straight over, with a fake smile on her face, as if she hadn't spent months trying to destroy my life. Hi, she said, her voice breathless. Hey, I replied, my voice flat. She glanced past me at my friends. One of them, a woman from our new dev team, caught her eye. Sarah's expression narrowed for a split second. Can we talk, please? She asked. I stepped away from my group just enough to be civil, but still able to leave at a moment's notice. She folded her arms, looking up at me as if she still held some sort of power. I know you hate me right now, she said. I don't. I responded. You're just not part of my life anymore. She blinked. That response hit her hard. You really think I'm some kind of monster, don't you? No, I said. I think you're selfish, impulsive, and incredibly good at wrapping betrayal in intellectual-sounding words to avoid accountability. Wow, her jaw clenched. You don't believe in forgiveness? Do? I just don't believe in recycling red flags, she scoffed. You think you're better than me now? No, I said. I know I am. The mask cracked. Her body tensed. You've changed, she snapped. I have, I replied. You helped with that. Is that girl you're with your new girlfriend? It's none of your business, but no, she's just a friend. She tried to sound casual, but the jealousy was obvious. I was lost. Eric, I didn't know what I wanted, she pleaded. You did, I said. You wanted freedom, attention, and options. You got them, but none of them chose you back, did they? She stared at me as if I had slapped her. I wasn't being cruel. I was being honest. Something she had never been with me. You act like I ruined everything, she said. You did, I replied simply. But the good news is, you did me a favor. You showed me exactly what to avoid for the rest of my life. She was breathing heavily, her voice tight. You're being so cold. No, I said. I'm being clear. I'm not angry, Sarah. I just don't care anymore. She shook her head. So that's it? You're done with me forever? I was done with you the night you looked me in the eye and told me open relationships were normal. You wanted the door open? I walked out of it. I turned back to my friends and walked away, leaving her standing there. No drama, no scene, just a woman alone with the consequences of her choices. With no one left to blame. That was the last time I ever saw her. No more emails, no more surprise visits, no more friends reaching out on her behalf. Just silence. Maybe she finally got the message. Maybe she realized that her charming manipulation no longer worked on me. Maybe she understood that the version of me who would have taken her back was long gone. Or maybe, just like every other option she chased, she simply got bored once she realized there was no attention left to harvest. I never really cared to find out. In the months that followed, my life got better. Not all at once, but steadily. I got a promotion and started leading a new product team. I picked up a new hobby, boxing. There was something therapeutic about hitting a heavy bag and silence, no words. No arguments, no manipulation, just pure release. I moved into a new place with a bigger kitchen and more light, a place with no ghosts. And yes, I started dating again, slowly and carefully. No rushing, no desperation, just getting to know people for who they really are, not who I wanted them to be. One of them, a woman named Leah, is still around. We're not rushing to label anything, but she's the most emotionally grounded person I've met in years. She listens more than she talks and asks questions instead of making accusations. When I told her about my past with Sarah, she didn't flinch. She just said, "It sounds like you finally chose yourself." She was right. It wasn't about replacing Sarah. It was about removing the part of me that tolerated. Sarah, the part that mistook gaslighting for communication. That confused chaos with passion, that believed loyalty meant waiting around while someone decided whether I was enough. That guy's gone. And good riddance. A few weeks ago, I was invited to an engagement party for a mutual friend from our old circle. I almost didn't go, but I decided I had nothing to hide. Besides, Leah came with me. It was a backyard party with music and string lights. We mingled, drank wine, and talked to old acquaintances who, surprisingly, didn't mention Sarah at all. It was like she had vanished from everyone's memory. Until she showed up. She came late, alone. Her hair was shorter, her makeup was heavier, and her smile was forced, not the genuine smile I used to love. This one didn't reach her eyes. She was trying to look unbothered, happy, and content, but it wasn't working. She spotted me across the lawn. Her expression froze when she saw Leah, who had her arm casually around my waist as I told a story about a coffee machine war at the office. Leah laughed just as Sarah stopped walking. And I'm not kidding. Sarah turned around and walked the other way. She didn't say hi, didn't wave, didn't make a scene. She just turned slowly and left. That was the moment I knew it was over. Not just the relationship, but the power she thought she had over Mitha, emotional leverage. The guilt, the way she used to make me feel like I owed her my silence. No more. That night, Leah and I went home, opened a bottle of wine, and watched a movie. No drama, no lies, just two people enjoying peace. The kind that comes after a storm. When the wreckage is cleared and the sky is finally quiet, sometimes I still think about that note I left behind. You're free now, just like you wanted. Don't contact me at the time. It felt like the bare minimum. But now I realize it was everything. Freedom without accountability is a cage you build for yourself. And as far as I know, she's still trapped in hers. Me, I'm just living. Thanks for watching.